the panel is looking really nice. It actually does fit very well. And once it's all in there, it really stiffens up and becomes very strong. So I have the two Dynon screens in there. I have one of the Dynon components in the middle. I put a switch in there just to make sure the switch does clear the bar that goes along the bottom. I have the aircraft specialty flap switch over there. And then on top of that is a trim switch, which isn't in, and then a trim indicator. I have the autopilot disconnect button. And to the left of that, right there, is the USB, not charge point, but the data input for the EFIS screens. And I have over on this side the ELT indicator. It's just sitting in there, it's not screwed in right now. These are two push-pull cables for cabin heat. They do fit in there. I tried those, they fit nice, and then all the rest of these are for circuit breakers. So everything's looking good. It does fit nicely. And I think once I just drill these holes on the bottom, and I'm thinking I might even just drill these and use sheet metal screws because it just goes into a tube like this. But I'm still working on that. After that's done, I can take it all apart and send the panel back to Aircraft Specialty, and they will powder coat it, which I'm doing in a flat black, and then they will label all the switches and stuff. Oh, one more thing I was just thinking here is I've got to finish this too. I've got to finish cutting this out of the sub panel, and then these holes here are for mounting brackets for that Garmin 175. So I do have to mount that yet. Okay, so once that's done, I can take it all apart and send it away. Well, I forgot I do have to open up all of these holes to the correct size. Well, as I'm drilling these holes around the top, I didn't show you, but I taped off the back of both of these Dynons because I don't want any metal shavings from these holes to drop down and get into the fans or the electrical connectors for those Dynons. I have this L angle here, match drilled. I have to drill this hole in the front yet, and I've got to start putting on this L angle and then matching these holes. I have to do this one first. When I made this Glareshield piece, I purposely didn't drill these holes just because I wanted to match drill it through here, through the firewall, and then into that L angle. Almost done. Well, I now have all of the holes drilled. I think the firewall ones have to get opened up for an A5 rivet though. I have to check the plan, so I might have to drill these out one size larger. So my next step now is to work on this plate here that closes up that gap. So I'll just get that in there and put some rivets in it, and that should be done. And then if you remember from a previous video when I talked about making this Glareshield, this isn't the factory Glareshield. I custom made it to reposition some holes. And I made it longer on purpose. So you can see how this piece here will fit somewhere like that. And then once everything is done and fit, and I take this off, I'll trim the front of this back and make it the same length. Now, as far as reference for attaching this piece, the only thing I see in the plans that I can find right now is this drawing right here, where if you can look really close, it shows a couple holes on that side and then one in the middle on the top there. So what I did for mine, instead of putting one in the middle here, because this curves this way, if there was one in the middle here, these two ends would sort of lift up. So this, I know it might be hard to tell, but you can see the piece right here. It kind of blends in with the other aluminum. But what I did was I pre-drilled these 4 holes in this aluminum piece. Then I positioned it on here until all the edges lined up. That kind of self-positions it. And then I just match drill these 4 holes, and that's it. Then I'll put a couple in the firewall here, maybe like 1, 2, 3 holes in here going across the firewall. Here's what I ended up doing. I put 4 across the front here. You'll notice this one and this one goes through this piece, and the firewall. But one of the things you'll notice, see how it kind of sticks up right there? You can see a little space right there. I'm gonna add 2 more rivets. I'll add one about here, and that'll close that up, and then I'll add one up here, and then that'll hold each side down. So obviously I'll do the same thing for this side. So I got the 4 clecos or rivets in the back, 4 up front, and then like I said, I'll have 1, watch how this goes down. I'll have 1 here and 1 here, and it'll be completely closed up and flat. The last step in this panel is bending these tabs from the Glareshield around this tube. So this side is done. I still have to do the other side. But the way I did that was I just took a block and I bent it around as much as I could. And then I took a nylon mallet and then just tapped it. And from tapping it, the back edge here is just a little bit wavy. But that's okay, because once I remove it, I'm gonna go ahead and trim this probably, somewhere about like right there. So anyway, it looks kind of cool bent around the tube, and that finishes that side up. Now, in my last couple videos, I've been pretty careful on camera placement because there's a corner of my hangar that I can't show you right now because I have 2 secret projects going on, and I'm not ready to reveal them just yet. But I will say this, if you like aviation, I think you're gonna really like secret project number 1. If you like the Super Duty, I think you're really gonna like project number 2. Project number 2 will take a little bit longer than project number 1, but if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you are subscribed because I will be revealing those secret projects hopefully soon.